Welcome to the auditorium at East Jordan High School for today's Lake Michigan All-Academic Conference team. Thank you to East Jordan High School. Thank you to East Jordan High School senior Morgan Tinney for playing our pre-ceremony entertainment. Thank you, Morgan. All-Conference team was a concept developed by principals of the league for the purpose of recognizing the highest academic achieving students from all 8 schools. These students are selected as the 12 highest point winners using a formula that calculates grade point average and ACT score. Today marks the 6th ceremony, which ironically began here in this auditorium in the year 2005. Here to honor our students are our distinguished guests, the superintendents of our schools. From Elk Rapids, Stephen Purcell. And finally, Superintendent of Schools from East Jordan, who will begin our ceremony with some remarks, Susan Wooden.
Good afternoon. On behalf of East Jordan Public School District, I extend a warm welcome to each of you, our honored students, parents, and school officials. The purpose of today's ceremony is to recognize the achievements of young men and women in our schools who have overcome the odds of the social, emotional, and physical distractions of the 21st century. You might be thinking, wait a minute, did she just say the distractions of the 21st century? She must have meant the conveniences of the 21st century. No, you heard me right. The successful young men and women before us in this auditorium today have overcome the odds of a litany of distractions of the 21st century. Parents, think about this. With all of the technological gadgets out there that are available to students today, your child chose to use them appropriately to assist themselves to an academic threshold which placed them at the top of their graduating class. Additionally, your child rose above the peer pressure to be persuaded down a path of self-destruction by resisting temptations which are more readily available to teenagers today than any century prior to this. Temptations involving substance abuse, hurting themselves, hurting others, stealing, lying, cheating, and all of those activities which are major distractions for today's youth. And finally, your child rose above the adolescent challenges of being bullied by someone. The young men and women sitting in this auditorium were likely bullied at some point in their academic career by another peer inside and or outside of the walls of our public schools. Bullies are all about taking your personal power away from you. They're about ridiculing you for deciding to complete your homework instead of drinking alcohol and experimenting with drugs at a discreet location, causing you to arrive home late, or worse, causing you not to arrive home alive at all. Put simply, rather than ridicule teenagers for growing up with the conveniences of the 21st century, try to understand the difficulty of growing up in the 21st century. There are endless distractions in this highly technological world where filthy social media attempts to strip away the integrity and character that parents and educators have tried to instill in our youth. Students, thank you for keeping your eye on the prize and remaining focused. Life is about choices. Choices which will lead you down one of 2 paths: the right path or the wrong path. I'm currently reading a book entitled Win: The Key Principles to Take Your Business from Ordinary to Extraordinary. Win examines the art, science, and language of winning. It's a great book for people who want to understand and emulate the winners of today, winners like you. This book was a gift from a couple of friends who care about me in the organization that I lead. Imagine if a couple of teenagers ran up to you with a book in their hand entitled Lose. Of course, it would have a black cover. It wouldn't be metallic gold like this one. Imagine if they said to you, "Hey man, you've got to give this book a read. It's full of self-destructive garbage that'll take you from where you are now to even lower depths." Yeah, there's stuff in it about hurting yourself and your friends, disappointing and disrespecting your parents, how to send your GPA spiraling to the gutter, suggestions for mutilating your body and becoming a disgrace to your family, and it culminates at the end with the key principles of losing. Would you read it? My point is this: if you don't identify who you are, someone else is going to tell you who you are. Unfortunately, you know several teenagers who use excuses as a crutch to explain away reasons why academic achievement isn't important to them. Each of you have risen above the peer pressure and have made a conscious decision to achieve academically, socially, emotionally, physically. To illustrate, basketball legend Jerry West was raised in a 500-person mining community in a dirt-poor rural West Virginia. His situation was tragic. Here's a lesson that anyone, regardless of where you start, has a chance to end up on top. At a recent interview, Jerry West said, "In my family, it was a struggle to survive. There were times when there wasn't a quarter in the house. I'm not exaggerating. In those periods when my father wasn't working, we had absolutely nothing. We never had a car. We never had a family vacation. I used to run everywhere. I remember seeing Forrest Gump and thinking how much like him I was. My parents had little or no education, and I had no means to go to school. But I had this love for basketball. I didn't realize I had a skill because I was so thin and small. All I had was a strong work ethic and an imagination, and someone who showed an interest in me. And that was enough. It was enough to earn him a position on the NBA All-Star team 14 times in his 14 seasons, and membership in the Basketball Hall of Fame. By the way, you've seen the official NBA logo with a player in silhouette that's jumping? That's Jerry West. Now understand what I'm emphasizing here. I'm not asking you to be the best. I'm asking you to be your best. This year, before you graduate from high school, please take time to recognize the fact that all we need in our lives is one adult to see the best in us. Not to help you see who you were, but who you could be. Is it your mother, father, grandparent, teacher, administrator, counselor, coach? Take time to recognize them and thank them for helping you see who you could be. Remember that winners elevate others, and in doing so, elevate themselves. Congratulations, graduating class of 2011. Your presence here today is a testimony of your ability to remain focused in a society filled with distractions, and I commend you for it. Bottom line, you've chosen to win. Thank you.
Mrs. Wooden. At this time, I would ask for my colleagues to please join me on the stage. And while they are doing so, I would like to recognize some other guests from our league schools. Counselor from Elk Rapids, Robin Anderson. Thank you for attending today's event. At this time, it is my pleasure to introduce my colleagues. From Elk Rapids, Mike Travis. Students, you will be called to the stage by school. I ask that when you are called, you stand alphabetically on this area of the stage by the podium, or at the foot of the stage, at the top of the stairs. Once you receive your certificate, you will shake the hands of all the principals and then assemble on the stairs for a picture opportunity. At this time, please welcome from East Jordan High School, our athletic director, Phyllis Olszewski, who will be our MC for the ceremony.
Austin Blackmore. Sarah Cunningham. Kyle Duran. Eric Drews. Natalie Ranger. Brandy Spohr. Dylan Sundberg. Kelly Thielen. William Wolfington. Alexander Zick.